And we are live. I am shocked that that all worked out. I hit all my buttons right. I timed everything correctly. I forgot to change the banner. I just realized I was so close. I was so close. Anyway, um, how's everybody doing today? It is Father's Day. So happy Father's Day to all you fathers out there, whether you have biological children or adopted children or um you know, fur children, animals, or what have you. Happy Father's Day. Hope you're having a great day. Hope you're having a great Sunday. And if you're not one of those things, I still hope you're having a great Sunday. I don't wish you an ill Sunday just because you don't have offspring or children or dependents in your life. So good to have everybody here. We're going to talk about toys. I am excited to talk about toys today. I'm excited to talk about the toys that I'm going to talk about. There's a whole lot that I'm not going to talk about today, um, just because I don't have enough time to talk about everything. Uh, so, uh, so let's get right into it, shall we? Um, First up, let's take a look at the Star Wars Vintage Collection Mos Eisley Cantina, the current HasLab that is going on right now. There are 22 days remaining. Let me format this so that it's a little bit bigger on the screen. Not that it makes that much difference, but 22 days left, 7 hours, 13 minutes to be precise. Two options, which is a little bit interesting. I don't remember there being a HasLab where you had options, but here we are. So you can buy the Cantina base set at $399.99, or of course, for $499.99, you can upgrade to the deluxe Cantina. Now, for me personally, I think most people are going to go for that $399 price point, which makes me think that the $499 price point is probably the way to go, and here's why. This is my money talk here. That $100 investment now will probably pay for a good portion of your base set in the future. If you order the deluxe, keep the base set, sell the deluxe part to somebody who either missed out or somebody that missed out on the Cantina entirely. And I think, I just genuinely think that there's going to be far fewer people that are going to go for that deluxe. And so that deluxe component, I think that deluxe component is going to be worth a decent amount of money. Um, it's Star Wars. It's one of those things where I don't think the customer base and sort of the fan base is going to drop off that much between now and when you get your cantina. Um, and I know that there's always people that miss out on these things, and there's always the aftermarket. Now, I think the real thing will be, will enough people buy the cantina as an investment that it won't be worth as much in the aftermarket? I don't know. I mean, that's where it's getting tricky these days, where some people are still able to kind of flip HasLabs or crowdfunded projects like this. And yeah, so I don't know. I mean, I don't know. I'm not collecting the vintage collection. I'm not a huge Star Wars collector. I'm a huge Star Wars fan, but as far as the toys, I buy some of the Black Series. I've bought a handful of vintage collection figures, um, to, to sort of world build for Cyberzoic a little bit. But as far as Star Wars collecting, I'm just not doing it on the same level that I do it with a lot of other properties. So The cantina, I'm not, it's easy for me to spend other people's money, but as I said, I think the 4.99 price point, if you can swing it, I mean, I think that's probably a better investment. I've heard a lot of people say, like, if you get the cantina, you put it on a shelf, where are you going to put the other half, right? If you get the deluxe, where are you going to put the other half? It then becomes this sort of enclosed playset. And how do you play with it and so on? But I think it just gives you more options. I think it gives you the ability, you don't have to set it up exactly how it's set up there. I think you can set it up in a more linear fashion than it's depicted there. If this is anything like the Navarro Cantina, and I believe that it is because I look at the pictures, and it suggests to me that it is. Let me see if I can find a picture that will sort of speak to or sort of visually show you what I'm saying here. Man, there's a lot of pictures, and none of these ones. Okay, this one will help. So if we look at this picture, you see how on this side, on the one side, there's pegs, and on the other side, there's holes. So that looks to me very similar to the way that they did the Navarro Cantina. And I'm not saying that this is going to match with the Navarro Cantina, but what I am saying is, some of the pieces that you get are like corner pieces, and in theory, in my mind at least, you could theoretically, not build it with the corner pieces. So there's see how there's like a wedge right there in between those two pieces? I think you could just put all the cubicles next to each other. So I think you could do it, in a row. Your cantina could be sort of 6 booths long. If you go all in, you've got six of the little booths. So you could go six cantina booths long. You could put the bar somewhere in the middle there. Like, I don't think it has to be configured the way that it's being configured here, is basically what I'm saying. So, um, but yeah, that's the Moss Eisley. And then those little cubicles, you can open them up too, so you can sort of put things in from the top. So I don't know. I think it's a cool playset. As I said, if I was a vintage collector, I'd probably be in on this, because I think this is a great diorama. This would be a great way to play with your toys, at least to me. As I said, 22 days left, currently at 4,896 backers, so 5,000 give or take, more than halfway within the first week, I think. When did this launch? It's only been a few days, right? So this is the first week since it's launched. To me, every HasLab, every Kickstarter, everything like that typically has a big kick at the end. And I could definitely see this having a kick at the end. Will it reach all the stretch goals? I don't know. Will it reach 8,000? I'm pretty sure it will. I'm not really that worried as far as that goes. But it would be cool to get all those figures unlocked. As I said, I have no skin in the game. This is not something that I backed. But you get, what's his name? Woo Her. You get Woo Her, you get the Tanika sisters. Never been made before, so that's kind of cool. People have been sort of asking for them. You get a Cantina Scene Greedo at 11,000 backers. You get this guy at 14,000 backers, Nabran Leeds, and then at 17,000 backers, you also get Arlail Shush, Shush, or something like that. Um, so I think them having the threshold goals as just sort of cantina folk really works, and I don't think anybody's going to be super upset if they don't unlock all those figures. I think there's not a huge value add as far as those figures go. You're looking at, what are they, $20 or something like that per figure. So there's not a huge difference between the base offering and like the full on all the stretch goals, which I think is maybe a safe play. And they didn't put characters in there that everybody needs. There's no um there's no Madeline Pryor in there. There's not they're not putting X-Men figures in with a Ghost Rider Kickstarter or anything like that. So or a HasLab, sorry, not Kickstarter. So I think this is a pretty solid offering. Um, but yeah, not really my jam. I am very curious to see what we get from the next HasLab that launches, which is very heavily reported to be a GI Joe classified HasLab. I think they kind of accidentally dropped the news that it will be launching at San Diego Comic Con. So when they did the Yojo June launch, they I don't remember them mentioning it except for the new guy. The new guy was like, "Oh, and it's going to be exciting to launch the HasLab at San Diego Comic Con." So I think I think it's coming at San Diego Comic Con. What it is, I don't know. All sources, all rumors, everything's pointing towards a Rattler, which is pretty cool. I'm excited to see what they do with it. If it's a Rattler, I will be passing on that. But anyway, all right. We're into the video already. I haven't even said hello. I meant to do that at the beginning, but I was just too excited to talk about a toy bar, and how Star Wars and Hasbro are encouraging drinking. No, they're not. It's a bad joke. Sam Rock is here. Ray Black, Ray Paz. Um, Ray Paz is listening on his drive. Sam Rock says, I don't really collect Star Wars either. I have a few original Kenner figures and a couple retro card figures. Yeah, Star Wars is a funny one. I think you're either kind of all in on Star Wars or you realize that there's way too many characters and way too many things to buy. Um, Ray, same thing. Looks good. Looks gorgeous, but I'm not a Star Wars toy collector. Yeah, I mean I think that's kind of well, objectively, if you're listening and if you're in your car listening or if you're watching, um, I'm not really a Star Wars guy. This isn't really a Star Wars channel, so I wasn't really thinking that everybody would be down with the cantina, um, so to speak. But it's exciting. I like this. I like play sets, and I like that this playset gives us hope for other playsets that Hasbro might do. And they have done them in the vintage collection to various degrees of reaction. They did the carbonite chamber from Empire Strikes Back, which I think was kind of a miss. They did the hallway from the Tantive, which I thought was kinda cool. I know that people didn't really it wasn't much of a hit either, and they did the Navarro Cantina, which I bought a couple of. I think that's a great, very sort of, universally sort of usable in the 1/18th scale, in a 4-inch scale. Um, so I think they're cool. I mean, I think they're pretty inexpensive ways to get Dio pieces, which is kinda cool. If you're not building Dios and you don't wanna sort of shell out for custom stuff, I think, it's a pretty decent alternative. Brick Something is here as well. Thanos Copter has joined. Brick says, I hope this thing funds and unlocks everything for folks. It's so significant to the IP, but Star Wars fandom is a trip, so who knows? Yeah, that's absolutely true. I think the Rancor, the lightsaber, but the Ghost was a success. The Ghost did well. So I mean, I think the vintage collection is doing better than I think that's as far as like true Star Wars collectors, and I say that with a little bit tongue in cheek, a little bit in jest. Um, but I think the more dedicated Star Wars collectors, I think, are still collecting in a 1/18 scale, in that vintage scale. That vintage scale scales with the vintage collection. It scales with the Power of the Force stuff, like all the Star Wars stuff in that scale scales. So, if you've got other play sets, if you've got other ships, if you've got whatever, I think it makes sense to get this. And I think it makes sense to sort of have all those scales together. I think I've seen fewer really hardcore Black Series collectors. I do know a few. I do know Black Series collectors that are like completists. But it seems like there's more people that have been collecting longer and are sort of going harder on Star Wars that are collecting vintage collection. Maybe not. I could be wrong. As I said, I'm not really collecting Star Wars, so I don't necessarily know. That's just my impression, just purely my opinion based on circumstantial evidence and anecdotal stories. Um, Sam Rock said, didn't they just announce a big G.I. Joe helicopter, or is that old news? Say what? That's news to me if they did. Um, Thanos says, if it was 112, I'd be in. Oh man, if it was 112 scale and it was that price, I might be in too. I might be in too. And I could park my Vamps and his tanks and Dragonflies out front of it. I don't know. I don't know. I think, like I said, I think the hardcore Star Wars guys are still collecting in a 1/18 scale. So there's even a part of me that's doing Cyberzoic that kind of looked at this and was like, I don't know. I mean, you could get your Cyberzoic characters in there. The only thing was that I don't think Cyberzoic is going to give me a world full of characters that would go to a cantina. So that's where I was kind of like, the Navarro cantina will work for me. The Mos Eisley cantina, I'll leave that one to the hardcore guys. Brick says, I was raised a Star Wars collector. If I didn't already do that, given my love for the IP, I'd be buying more of it. Just doing the left of center stuff like the Bandai Meisho movie. Yeah, yeah, yep. Um, yeah, and I think, the guys that have been collecting their whole lives, they've been collecting Star Wars their whole lives, and they did the vintage and they did all the Power of the Force, and I think they're happy to sort of keep the scale alive, keep the scale going in that respect. Um, and Thanos says, "I think any set pieces are wins." Yeah, I mean, I do too. I mean, even if it doesn't fund, it just sort of show, and I think it's gonna fund. I'm not saying I don't think it's gonna fund. But even if worst case scenario, even if it didn't fund, I think it's good that Hasbro shows people that they're still willing and able to do stuff like playsets, because I think people are sort of like, people want them. People say they want them, right? People say they want, with Star Wars, they want ships, they want play sets, they want, everything that they had as kids. And then Hasbro kind of says, like, put your money where your mouth is. So I really genuinely hope this funds. I really hope that somebody that I know gets one, and that at some point in my life I can go and play with it, because it looks amazing. I do think it's funny. I will point this out. I will point this out because they said it multiple times, and I just thought it was really, really funny. I think you get something like 200 cups. And if you get the deluxe, you get like another 80 cups. So you have like close to 300 cups. You're not going to have that many characters. Like, what are you going to do with all those cups? I want to see if I can find it, because they made a point to like mention. Oh, um, let's see. No, it's 100 total cups. But then if you get the deluxe, where did it go? They mentioned what's in the deluxe too. Where is it? Oh, 20 more cups. I thought it was way more cups. But anyway, it's a lot of cups. The Navarro Cantina came with like 4 cups, and I think I opened it and lost 2 of them like instantly. They are so tiny. They are so incredibly tiny because it's a cup for a person who is 4 inches tall. So it's a teeny tiny cup. I don't think you could even get a drop in there. Not even a drip of something would fit in those teeny tiny cups. Um, but anyway, let's move on. Let's move on from there. Speaking Moistly is here. Let's keep this rolling. Let's see. Let's see. Too many cups. Um Oh, Samrock says, I looked it up. The G.I. Joe helicopter is old news. Something called the G.I. Joe HasLab Dragonfly. It's like year old news, but I saw it recently. Yes, the G.I. Joe classified Dragonfly was the last HasLab. It fully funded. Um, I ordered mine. I'm very, very excited to get it. They did an unboxing of the Dragonfly about a week ago. So that's sort of the big news as far as the Dragonfly goes. I believe delivery for the Dragonfly is meant to be like quarter 3, 2024. So that one's coming out. I think they're kind of learning, right? I think they're learning that with the His tank, they announced the Dragonfly before they'd done an unboxing of the His tank and before they were sort of like a little further ahead with the His tank. I think the Dragonfly, they're smartly getting ahead of things. They've done an unboxing. They're sort of showing off what the product is going to look like, reassuring people that it's on the way, that it's sort of it's in process, and that it's well into the sort of process and very near production. Because I think that inspires confidence in people to back the next HasLab. And like I said, I think the next HasLab is probably going to get released for GI Joe Classify at the San Diego Comic-Con, and I think it is gonna be the Rattler. And I think I will be passing on that. So, Sam says, so that must have been what I saw. I'm sorry, I don't know anything about G.I. Joe toys. That's fine. That's fair. I don't know anything about most other toys that I don't talk about, so that is entirely fair. Um All right. So, the good news is I think I've more or less like figured out what the issue with StreamYard was. I think. So I can share, different news. I can share new stuff. I can show visuals and they come up more or less on time. Wave, I want to say 11 of the Super 7 Ultimates Thundercats has been revealed. They are up for pre-order now. We get Claudus, we get the Thunderian Royal Guard or whatever it's called. We get the Lunatek, Amok, and whatever. I don't know them very well. And we get Robert Bill. I am extremely excited for Robert Bill. Um, Here's a little Father's Day story. With a little bit of backstory. So backstory is this: when Wave One of the Super 7 Thundercats Ultimates was announced, and Wave One was, I want to say, Lion-O, Mumra, and two others. I can't even remember. It feels like forever ago. Um, I was like collecting. I was back into collecting toys, but I wasn't like fully into it like I am now. Those got announced, and I like instantly pre-ordered Lion-O. It was I think, and if memory serves correctly, and it might not. I couldn't think of anything else. I bought big Lego sets before. So I won't get into the backstory of sort of how I got back into collecting action figures, but I was buying Lego and I was buying big Lego sets, but I was buying action figures and I was buying like Marvel Legends and things like that. Like readily available in Toys R Us or Target or Walmart or whatever. Um but I had been looking at, online toy retailers for some of the figures that I hadn't been able to get in stores, and I needed that Lino. I was like, "Lino is dope." I still have my vintage LJN from my childhood Lino. I only had 2 no, sorry, I only had 3 vintage, Thundercats figures left in my collection. I probably only had about 6 or 7 total, to be honest. I was never that deep into the Thundercats action figures. Love the cartoon. Don't know a ton about the lore. Love the cartoon, but didn't kinda, like, remember it all, so but I needed to get that Lino. Um, oh, for reference, because this'll become relevant again. For reference, my childhood collection of LJN Thundercats was Lino, Mumra the Ever Living, like the big, hulked out Mumra, Monkian, Robert Bell, um, the Walrus guy, and then I remember having one more of the Thundercats. I think it was Panthro, but I can't even remember because I didn't keep it. The ones that I kept, the ones that I still have, are Lino, Mumra, and Monkian. So those were sort of the 3 that I had to have. I have this weird thing where, like, if I still have the vintage version, I really wanna get a modern version when it comes out. So I had to get Lino, then I got Mumra, then I got Monkey, and then I was like, okay, that's what I got, right? I'm good with that. That's the backstory. Moving into the Father's Day portion of this story. I'm surprised everybody hasn't logged off. Um, moving into the Father's Day portion of the story. My 4-year-old the other day came in to my office and she said, "Dad, you know the cartoon with Mumra?" And I said, "Yeah, Thundercats. That's great. I love that cartoon. We have a couple of the figures." She goes, "Oh, we do? They're on a higher shelf because I only have a couple. So they're just on a higher shelf because they don't take up one of these shelves." She goes, "Oh, can we watch that cartoon?" I said, "Well, I don't own that cartoon. The library has it and we rent it out. I rent it out every couple of months and we watch a disc and then it has to go back. But um now now I got to buy the box set." And I also and she was like when she found out that there was an action figure line for it. She was like, "Oh, we should get those." And I was like, "Okay, that was the enabling that I needed. I needed my 4-year-old to enable me." Like I said, I already have a few. There's a few that I've had my eye on. When Robert Bill, there's some about the Roberts, they are Third Earth's equivalent of the Ewoks, and that Thundercats should be a no-brainer, right? I should be all in on a Thundercats line because I'm all in on Animal Warriors of the Kingdom, and I love Ninja Turtles and like anthropomorphized whatever. Thundercats is like it's perfect for it, right? It's that mix of like sci-fi to me, and don't get this twisted. I'm not saying that it is better. I'm just saying to me, the Thundercats was like it had more impact than like He-Man because He-Man's still just mostly people. But these were almost all animals. There's people in there too, but it's kind of reversed, right? They've inversed what sort of He-Man did. And so I love this. There's sort of like there's science fiction, but there's swords and there's a little bit of magic in there and there's robots and there's like everything. This is right up my alley. Fast forward from that conversation with my 4-year-old to today, and I've got Robert Bill on pre-order. I've got like Wily Cat lined up. I got Chitara. Um I've got like the only thing I'm stuck without is I haven't figured out how to get a Tigra. So I'm gonna have to find a Tigra. That might be the hard one for me to catch up on. But yeah, Robert Bill. I hope we get the other Roberts. Most people don't like them. Most people don't like Snarf. I think Snarf's fantastic. I'm excited to get Snarf. Because why not? If you're getting everybody else, you definitely need to get Snarf. There's the breakdown with all the accessories that come with them. A few people have mentioned that they've kind of scaled down the number of accessories or kind of like pulled back on the number of accessories. There's fewer extra hands, there's like fewer extra accessories and things like that with this wave in particular. A few people have said that the super pack is a little bit disappointing. That's fair. I mean, all those things are fair. Samrock, you are in the minority. Sam says, "I really want Snarf. He's funny in a couple of episodes I've seen." I like Snarf. There's a lot of people that don't like Snarf, and there was a lot of people that were up in arms when Snarf was the same price as other figures in the wave that he was in. Which I have my thoughts about. Whatever. Let's see. Red 5 says gonna catch up on the replay. I just want to say happy Father's Day to all the dads. Have a great show. So far, so good. We're probably halfway through. I'm not gonna go too long today. I don't have a ton of stuff to talk about. And I'm gonna go hang out and maybe if they've cleaned up the living room, we're probably gonna get the He-Man Origins toys out. Um, let's see. Brick something. OG Thundercats are mostly glam rock Broadway humans with cat makeup. Not the worst thing, but 2011 Thundercat designs were the shiz. The 2011 Thundercat designs were fantastic. They were yeah, there were yeah, I totally agree with that. They were great, and more on that in a moment. Let's see. Allison Troy is here as well. Thanos says, I like that the burble comes with the cat's lair blueprints. Absolutely. I think that's such a cool touch. For anybody that doesn't know, I think it was like episode two. I might have even been episode one, but like within the first two or three episodes, the burbles are introduced. The Burbles are a species from planet Robert. They are pacifists. They're just industrious little engineers and builders. The Thundercats are needing to rebuild or sort of build themselves somewhere to live with the remains of their crashed spaceship essentially. And the Burbles offer to help. They say, the five or six of you, it's going to take you forever. Let us help. And so the Burbles actually designed the cat's lair, I believe, if I remember that correctly. And then help them build it. And they build it in no time at all because they have these industrious little Ewok robots to help them out. But I like that too. I think it's a good touch. I think specifically with, as I said, the Burble is the only one that I'm getting. Robert Bill is the only one that I'm getting in this wave, but it's a cool wave. A lot of deep cuts. Um, we've gotten some of the Lunatics before, or we're in the process of getting them, so that team's gonna get built out. Claudus is a nice addition. If you're all in, I think you'll probably be into that figure. The Thunderian Guard, I think you could easily get two. I don't know if anybody's gonna really army build. Again, that's sort of one of those ones where he was in what, an episode, maybe two. Pretty deep cut. Um, So yeah, get what you want. Don't get the other ones. That the super pack, I've seen a lot of people kind of just confused as to like what it is. In previous waves, we've seen super packs that made a little bit more sense. But anyway, I'm only getting the bear. Um, and I'm very, very excited to get the bear. Um, there he is with his little torch, standing in front of the cat's lair again. There it is. There's the paw. There's the front steps. Um, so yeah. Let's see. Moving on in other Super 7, I believe Ultimates news. Super 7 has teased the 2003 Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles. They have suggested these will be Ultimates. They have suggested that these will have improved and increased articulation. I don't know what I think about these. I was not that I wasn't a huge fan of the 2003 Ninja Turtles. I just didn't know that they existed, to be perfectly honest, until much much later. Didn't buy the toys. The cartoon is okay, but to me, the '80s cartoon is the gold standard. The 2003 one is like closer to the comic book. So for a lot of people that are deep into the lore of Ninja Turtles, I think there's a preference for the 2003 cartoon lore wise. Um, so I think it's really really cool that we're getting these. But going back to Brick's point, this is part of the reason that I brought this up. Going back to Brick's point, right here about the 2011 Thundercats designs being really really great. I wonder if there is a scenario in which those 2011 Thundercats, because eventually the Thundercats Ultimates, they're gonna run out of repaints and weird, obscure, deep dive characters. So at some point, if they want to keep it going, they would have to potentially go the route that Super 7 is going with these 2003 Turtles, right? Where apart from re-releasing the turtles that they've already done, they got to do something else. They got to do something different. So that was sort of my thought when I saw the 2003 turtles. I'm curious what these turtles look like. I believe the news will be coming this week, so join me. Oh no, no show next weekend. I was gonna say join me next weekend, and I'll be talking about it, but it'll probably be 2 weeks from today. Um, I'm very curious to see what improved articulation looks like from Super Seven. Um, I'm curious to see what these toys look like. Are they gonna stick to the 2003 Playmates stuff, which Playmates is re-releasing, or will they go in a slightly different direction? Will they update them? Will they just will they be like too similar to what they've already done? The people's reaction won't be, as strong. I don't know. Are we gonna get alternate heads? Are we gonna get how many hands are we gonna get? Are they gonna be colored correctly? That's a big thing that a lot of people are talking about. So stay tuned for more on the 2003 TMNT Ultimates. But I am watching with a keen eye. I think it's I'm pretty interested in what they're gonna do, and pretty. There's just so much turtle stuff. There's so much turtle stuff going on, which is cool if you're a Turtles fan, and if you're not a Turtles fan, it's just fun to be along for the ride, I suppose. Sam says Leonardo's the only head sculpt that's basically same from the original toy. Yeah, I did look at that. So from the 2003 Turtles to these Turtles, stylistically they look very, very similar in terms of like the angles and the shapes and things like that. But these heads are different, so they're not doing like one to one, or at least not based on this picture. Now this is where I was talking about the alternate head sculpts. What Super 7 did with the original Turtles is basically gave them the original heads plus an updated head. Mine on my shelf have the updated head. I prefer it. I think it looks a little bit better. But the original heads were like pretty true to the original. So I wonder if they're going to do the same with these. I wonder if they're going to make the 2003 heads and then these are like the alt heads. Um, we shall see. Burke says, "By Thundera, I wish Super 7 would keep going with Thundercats and do 2011. That'd be amazing and right up their alley." That's what I'm thinking too, is they kind of have started doing the same thing with Ninja Turtles in terms of like new characters, these 2003 designs. GI Joe, Ultimates, they're sort of branching out a little bit and kind of mixing things up, and what they've done with the reaction lines for GI Joe, where they're creating characters, creating figures that never existed. Like I think there's potential for it. Whether or not, whether or not they'll do that with Thundercats, I don't know. But kind of like a pipe dream type thing, I guess. Brick something says Kyle Lotiga of Super 7 was asked about the new visible neck articulation. Question: double neck? Kyle's answer: double everything we could. So, I mean, that kind of, it is. So, are we going to see, double jointed elbows, double jointed knees, double jointed necks, torso articulation, ankle articulation plus a rocker? Like, are they going to go with like modern articulation schemes? I don't know. I don't. I've explained this in great detail before. I don't have an issue with Super Seven's articulation. They are doing something different. They're doing what they want, and what they're doing isn't gonna please everybody, but I'm a fan. I like it. I like what Super 7 is doing. And Brick says he definitely said double elbows and knees. Yeah, yeah. I think I've heard him say that before too. Um, and yeah, don't know what else. Yeah, I mean, he's sort of running that project, right? So I'm curious to see like what happens there. Maybe I'll reach out once these get revealed and see if Kyle will do a video. Because I'd love to chat with him about Super 7 and about Ninja Turtles and all that kind of stuff. But that is for another day. Today I got a little bit more stuff to share. So I don't know if you guys have ever heard of Defenders of Eden, but they are in the midst. They're deep into production. So the Defenders of Eden, Armies of Ashmore, Those big old chunky dinos are coming very, very soon, and I have a little bit of a sneak peek here. This is the art for the side of the boxes. So this is gonna be, when you put when you put your boxes together next to each other and you get those nice mural type art. That's what you're getting with the armies of Ashmore. So we've got Milwick, we've got I'm blanking completely on all of the names apart from Milwick. But all your mains right there, the five mains that we're getting. So each one will sort of have their face on the side, but they'll all sort of line up to get East of Eden figures. I would buy those. A little James Dean figure. That'd be cool. Um yeah, so they're doing this really, really cool mural. Now, I don't know. I didn't ask and I didn't want to push it. Matt shared this with me. Um eh, will this get expanded upon? Like when the next wave comes, will they sort of slot in here? I don't know. I'd be curious to know. But anyway, the art looks fantastic. I can't wait to get these figures. Matt's a great dude. These figures are I think people are gonna be blown away by these figures. I've had the figures in hand, not the final production ones, but like the articulated ones. They move way better than I thought they were gonna move. Like way better than I thought they were gonna move. They're big and chunky. They're gonna look great on an Animal Warriors of the Kingdom shelf. They're gonna look great next to, whatever Ninja Turtles. These are actually gonna work really, really well. Like with the Triceraton and stuff like that. Um, Brick says, "I too never remember anyone but Milwick." Uh, yeah, I want to say Kubo, but that's not his name. The Ankylosaurus has another name. But there you go. Brick something coming through. So we've got Milwick is the Brontosaurus. Then we've got more than this because Ku- um General Saros is the blue Triceratops. The Royal Guard is the green guy. The infantry warrior is the red guy, and then Vasapo. No, no, Vasapo is the green one. Now I'm getting confused. I th- Vasapo is the Stegosaurus. I thought he was called the infantry. Rhydor is infantry green. Okay, Rhydor is yeah. Kuzo is the Ankylosaurus. There it is. I should remember these. I did the backer kit, but I can't remember any of their names. Whoops. I think I got them right in the backer kit, but anyway, that was just sort of a cool little tidbit for anybody that's paying attention to the what's going on with the Defenders of Eden, Armies of Ashmore line. As I said, they're well into production. Matt's started working on like wave 1.5. There's two figures that he wants to do in that wave. Um, so stay tuned on that. I've also got where did it go? I've also got some information that is relevant. Um, Hold on, I gotta just get my pictures lined up here, so I don't screw anything up. All right. So last week on Monkey Business, we talked about these. We talked about the box art for Wave 4 of the Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. These are the production samples. These are the first production figures off the line. All four of them. They are in Louisiana currently, in the swamps of Louisiana. They will not be available at Joe Fest, unfortunately. It just didn't work out. We were trying to get at least a couple boxes shipped by air, and it just couldn't get coordinated in time. Joe Fest will have everything up to Wave 4, and we will have some cool bonus stuff for people that are there. If you haven't gotten all your figures up to Wave 3, you'll have the opportunity to get those. Wave 4 will ship soon. There will also be, I think there might be a bit of a promo for people that order Wave 4 at Joe Fest. I'm not sure exactly how the details will work, but I wanted to share this. So this is the inbox. Um, nope, that doesn't work. Can I embiggen it? No. Anyway, there they are in box. So you got Gladiator Pale, Gladiator Atreyu, the horrid mongrel, as well as Hawkin. Um, Hawkins getting the spear there. So this is like our first look at like the pack out. Um, the big sort of club style weapon, as well as the spear. The hyena comes with that big stone axe and then a new blade. Uh, Gladiator Atreyu comes with a slightly different coloration, and then two blades that we've seen before. Gladiator Pale as well. So that's pretty exciting. And then last little bit, there is the side of the box. So that's the sort of art, on the side. It's not a mural. It's like the Armies of Ashmore stuff was, but still, I think it looks pretty darn cool. Anyway, um, Allison says the port of LA, there's more bayou than swamp. Swamps start a little further east and south. Um yeah, he's technically in Lafayette, so it's not as swampy as I make it sound, but um Brian Brink says it seems like Joe Fest will be quite the show this year. So many companies are going to showcase their stuff. 100%. Brian Brink, you bring up a very, very good point, and I think because there's no PowerCon this year, I think Joe Fest is kind of shaping up to sort of not be the substitute. I don't wanna say that like everybody that went to PowerCon, you know, corrected and is now going to Joe Fest. But Joe Fest is gonna have the Four Horsemen. Joe Fest is gonna have Creative Beast Studios. Joe Fest is gonna have Spiro Studios. And then there's others, right? All the GI Joe centric or GI Joe adjacent stuff is going to be there as well. So it's going to be I think it's going to be a blast. I think it's going to be a really, really cool convention, and I think it's going to be a lot of fun to meet up with people, hang out, and sort of do the whole thing. Um, I've got a lot of stuff that I'm picking up at Joe Fest, but not from Joe Fest. Terrence is helping me out. I had a bunch of stuff just get shipped to Terrence, and then Terrence has got to load a whole vehicle full of stuff to bring to me. So that's gonna be exciting. I'll make sure to like post pictures of what I pick up. Um, I don't think I'll be picking up any AWOC stuff though. I may pick up one or two things, but I mean between conventions that I've been to and pre-orders that I already had and stuff like that, I think I'm pretty well covered on Animal Warriors of the Kingdom. Thank goodness that the Wave 4 stuff's not going to be there. Otherwise, I'd be coming home probably with two suitcases instead of just one. Ray Pad says, just on time to ask a question. He asks, the hyena is an army builder, correct? Yes, it is. Not a named character. No, he does not have a name. Um, so yeah, the hyena, which is just called the horrid mongrel, is an army builder. I'm looking forward to seeing how the spots line up with Lexion spots. I'm looking forward to seeing if that neck collar piece fits on like the armored torsos. Um, if they even come off, I don't even know. I haven't even thought to ask. Does that just pop right off? Stay tuned. Maybe I'll get to play with the samples. Maybe I'll have more answers. Um, in a week or in 2 weeks, like I said, when I come back. When's the next monkey business? I can't remember. The next monkey. Oh, and that's the other thing. The next monkey business gets delayed a little bit because Brick's going to be away. So I think we pushed it back a week. So we did monkey business a week ago, and then it's normally every 4 weeks, but I think it's going to be a 5 weeks because Brick goes away. I'm going away. It's we shuffled the schedule a little bit. Um, Anyways, that's all I got. This is a very short video. We're at 51 minutes. That's really short. Wowza. What am I gonna do with my whole afternoon? Maybe I'll let everybody go have a longer than usual break between this and Brick Show. Um, don't say I never give you anything, because I'm giving you a longer break to get time. Yeah. Brick says spend time with the kiddos. Yeah, that's probably what I'm gonna do. I think yeah, we maybe get some Mario Kart going. Maybe I'll just crush them in Mario Kart for a while. Um and then we'll play with some He-Mans. I think that's probably what my afternoon entails. I'll be in the chat on Brick's show if you're watching this um, live at 45 minutes from now over on Brick Something's channel. There's more news, more organized, more indie stuff. So go check that out. And then the pantheon of toy tubers is open to you on Sunday evenings, whether it's hella dope toys, whether it's Geek Dad Life, or whatever else. Those are the two that I typically watch. But let me click some buttons so that I'm closer to where I need to be. There we go. All right. I mean, 53 minutes. Anybody got, if you got a question or two, maybe we can chat for a minute. But otherwise, I'll wrap things up here. Um, and Ray Paz, I echo your sentiment. Hope to see you all on Brick's channel. It's been a pleasure, guys. Again, happy Father's Day to all of you that are fathers or identify as fathers. Go out and have some fun with those kids. Allison Troy, what's your favorite Ewok? Wicket, 100%. I know that's an easy answer, but I have you know, no guilt in saying in saying Wicket 100%. 7 minutes on AWOC versus Thundercats. They're both awesome. They're both awesome. I will say that AWOC wins out because the lore is just way, way better. Thundercats are great. Thundercats cartoon intro is probably better. Even if the AWOC one is phenomenal when the cartoon does end up coming out. I think that Thundercats opening to me is the best cartoon opening. Like, if Thundercats cartoon didn't exist and it was just that minute and a half opening, I would still be like Thundercats is like one of the best cartoons ever. Anyways, enough of that. I'm not gonna talk that for 7 minutes. Anyways, it's been a pleasure. It's always great to have you guys hang out and chat and talk toys. I'm gonna turn this down on my end. There, that's better. It's been a pleasure, and I hope to see you guys all again very, very soon. Like I said, no live show next week, but I'll probably try to record something. It might just be an unboxing video or whatever. But I'll try to put something on the channel so that you guys don't forget that I exist. If you are at Joe Fest, though, feel free to stop by and say hello. As I said, there's going to be a lot of cool stuff. There will be the Spirit Toys booth will have posters and stickers. I don't know how you get them exactly, but I know that the posters were made, stickers were made, and they're cool, like holographic prism colored stickers. So I'm definitely gonna be picking one of those up myself. Until next time, bye bye.